guys, welcome back to my new video. We just got back from our trip to Tennessee like 2 days ago. I still haven't unpacked, don't judge me. We spent 10 days there and it was so much fun. It was so relaxing and just what I needed before I go back to school, go back to work right after Labor Day. We were actually there for my sister's baby shower, which, side note, I'm gonna be an aunt for the very first time and I am so thrilled and I cannot wait to meet him. But anyway, when we weren't busy planning or setting up for the shower, we basically spent our days hanging out with family, which was great. We had a lot of people come into town for the shower, so it was really great catching up with them and relaxing with them. Or we spent it swimming. We actually spent, I would say, most days, or like most of the days that we were there, we went out and we swam. So that was really great. I was really happy about that. One day we actually went hiking with my aunt and my cousin, and my cousin's dog, Winston, who is an absolute sweetheart. We went hiking and it was beautiful. Other than that, we just relaxed and enjoyed the view. Okay, so this trip I traveled with my 1-ish year old, who is an awesome travel companion, but this was actually her first time flying, so we were a little unsure of like how she was gonna do on a plane. I didn't buy her an extra ticket, so she was sitting on my lap for the flight there and back. And like I said, it was just her and I traveling, so I was really nervous about how she was gonna do on a flight. A couple videos ago when we were getting ready for this trip, I asked for tips and suggestions that people had for flying with a 1-year-old. And I got some on my Instagram page, which was great. They were absolutely helpful. So today I thought that I would share them and a few of my own for anyone preparing to go on a trip or go on a flight with their little one. And hopefully they'll help, or at the very least, ease your mind a little bit about traveling on a plane with a baby. These are not in any particular order. There are things that are going to be more important to some people and less important to others. So I did not rank them. I did not rank them at all. The very first tip that I'm going to talk about today is to bring snacks. This is a tip that was shared with me on Instagram, but also one that I had been seeing as I was scouring the internet trying to prepare for our flight. We brought dried fruit, we brought goldfish, we brought those little fruit pouch thingies, we brought granola bars, we brought veggie sticks. I literally packed our carry-on full of snacks because I was just so nervous, and my plan in my head was that if she was just crying, I was just gonna be shoving food in her mouth. Be sure to keep in mind though, that some snacks are messier when you only have one hand available to feed your child with. So because I had her on my lap, I was holding her with the one hand and really only able to kind of feed her with the other hand. Yes, she can eat, but when she's wiggly and stuff, she throws food, right? So I was really just trying to hand feed her myself, which was fine. Most of the snacks that I took were great. There were a couple though that got really messy. For instance, we have those like little cheese and cheese cracker whatever sandwich thingies. Those were so messy, like so messy, and I only gave her like a third of a cracker. She only ate like an eighth of that, and there were just crumbs everywhere, and I spent like 5 minutes trying to just like pick up every little crumb off the floor after our flight because I was so embarrassed. Like I was like, oh my god, this is so dirty. I felt so bad. Just kind of keep that in mind when you're choosing the snacks that you want to bring. We have a very active child and she's really wiggly and she likes to talk with her hands, and food was just kind of going everywhere. At one point we had those little fruit pouches, which she loves, but she had those and she had drank half of it, and then she decided to like throw it around while it was still in her hand. And so we got like our entire seat. We had the window seat on the way back, and she sprayed fruit, veggie, smoothie all over the window and the wall. So I then had to, spend 5 minutes cleaning it up. So that was kind of a mess. Keep that in mind. My second tip is also food related, but it is for you. Make sure you eat before you get on the plane. Our flight to Tennessee was very early in the morning, and I wasn't that hungry before I got on the plane, but I grabbed myself a snack. I got myself a water bottle, and I was like, I'll just eat on the plane. And that didn't end up happening because I was like, on the way out to Tennessee, she was sleeping the whole time, which was great. Like, it was perfection. I was so happy that she fell asleep on the way to, but I couldn't eat anything. So I was starving. Eat before you get on the flight. I did eat on our flight back to Minnesota. I did eat beforehand, and it was so much better. I wasn't hangry when we landed, and it was good. So the third tip that I have for you is to bring your stroller and gate check it. So I had seen somebody else say, like, don't bring your stroller, just bring, carrier on, whatever, strap her up, whatever. And I was like, no, because I get hot in airports, I get hot on planes. And so having her on me, creating more body heat, absolutely not. Hard pass, hard no. So I decided to bring a stroller because I'm not having her hang on me when I have to deal with everything else. Given tickets, given IDs, no, I'm not doing that. I brought a stroller and it was awesome. I would assume this is on most airlines, double check though. With kids 2 and younger, any like major baby things, like a stroller, a car seat, I think even like a bassinet or like a travel crib or anything like that, I think those are free. So I brought a stroller and her car seat, and both were free. So I could check the car seat for free, and then I ended up just gate checking the stroller. I thought, you know what? I might as well just bring the stroller her around the airport, won't have to worry about anything, and it worked out very well. My fourth tip is to get an aisle seat if you can. So I've heard people say not to get the middle seat, which absolutely wasn't even gonna try. But I received 2 different suggestions, and I took both suggestions. So one of them was to get an aisle seat, and one of them was to get a window seat. We had an aisle seat on the way to Tennessee, and we had a window seat on the way to Minnesota. So we tried out both of them. She was asleep for the aisle seat. We didn't really get to experience her awake and wiggly in that seat, but I did get to experience her awake and wiggly in the window seat. And let me tell you, it did not work for her. She is very active. She likes to see people. She likes to talk to people. She likes to move. My seatmate told me at the end of the flight that he thought that I should be a professional horse wrangler. So if that gives you any kind of indication as to how she was during that flight back, there you go. No, she was honestly really good on the way back, but she was wiggly. And I would have liked to have the option to get out and walk her up and down the aisles. I think that would have really helped her. People said get the window seat so they can look outside. She would look outside for a second and she would play with the thing for a second. I'm sure people around us really loved that. And then be bored with it and want to get out of her seat and want to move around and stuff. For our child, she's very active and wants to be on the move always. I think an aisle seat is definitely a better option for her. Get an aisle seat. Number 5, get them moving before your flight. My daughter isn't walking yet, so she's just crawling. So I made sure to dress her in pants, and I honestly just let her crawl on the airport floor. I know it's disgusting. I know that there are a lot of germs, but I made sure to sanitize her hands and just everything really well. But I let her crawl around because I just wanted to get as much energy out of her as I possibly could. I just let her explore. I pushed her around in the stroller. I let her pushed the stroller herself. She crawled around. She was just kind of going crazy, and I let her because I did not want that energy to be expelled on the plane. Get them moving before your flight. All right, now in the same breath, I have to say number 6 is to bring hand sanitizer, wipes, sanitizing wipes, all of that stuff, so that you can sanitize them, but also like your seat, like the plane seat, and like the tray, and like the window, just kind of all of that. I'm not a huge germ person. I don't really care. Like I let her go outside and, you know, dig in dirt and eat dirt if she wants to. Like, they're kids, and like that's how they build up their immunity, right? So I'm not a huge germaphobe. However, there's a lot of people coming through the airport, on the plane, all of that, and I just, you know what, I just did a little bit of sanitizing, but make sure you have that stuff on hand because it's super, super easy, and you never know when she's gonna, you know, when your baby's gonna drool on you or do something, right? And you need to quick sanitize, so bring those. All right, number 7 is to bring toys. I had like 3 in rotation, with a book also, so I guess 4 if you want to include that. But I had those in rotation, and I'm pretty glad that I brought that many. Now keep in mind the sound or the noise that the toy makes. We brought toys that were very quiet. I think the loudest thing that I brought was her little like chew ring that has like the little crunchy paper ears or something around it. That was the loudest thing, but you couldn't really hear it. If I brought a rattle on the plane, my daughter would go crazy. She would absolutely love it. She would be rattling that thing for an hour and a half straight. However, the people around me would probably hate me, and no, I'm not doing it. Just be aware of what toys you're packing. Okay, number whatever, I lost count already. Bring water or milk or whatever else your child drinks to sip on during takeoff and landing. I had read this online that, you know, as you're taking off or landing, it kind of, you know, the air pressure kind of like hurts their ears or whatever, because they don't understand that if they just swallow, then their ears pop and whatever else, right? So I was really nervous because we had never taken our daughter on a flight before, so who knows? And I've heard stories about kids not liking that, right? We had a bottle ready to go just in case. She actually only drank from it one time during those 4, you know, takeoffs, 2 of the takeoffs and 2 of the landings. She only drank it during one of those, and I think it was the takeoff from Tennessee to Minnesota. Other than that, like, she was totally fine. I don't know if it just didn't like affect her that well, or maybe she was swallowing at the time coincidentally and it just doesn't matter. I would say just to bring it just in case. Who knows? It's also just a great way to occupy them, I think. Okay, next tip, because I still don't remember what number we're on. Next tip, board last. So I flew Delta, so I had a designated seat number. And I know with Southwest, you don't have that option. So this may not apply to you if you're traveling alone with your child. However, I would say if you're flying Southwest with another adult, have the adult go first, maybe reserve a couple seats, and then you just move your baby around, getting that energy out until, you know, you're the last people on. Boarding last was honestly really, really great. I just wanted to limit the amount of time that she was sitting on the plane or having to, you know, kind of sit in tight quarters. So we were just doing laps, you know, until basically they called us at the very end. So that was great. Okay, my last tip. This should be number 10. If I have counted correctly. So number 10, stay calm. It is what it is. You are not the first person to fly with a baby, and you certainly will not be the last. Most passengers have flown with babies on the flight. Most are understanding. Most have headphones on. I tried to be extra friendly to the people beside me, you know, just in case she became super unruly or whatever. But I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. I mean, I was so nervous before our flights. I was like waking up. I barely slept the night before the flight because I was so anxious. I was sure that she was just gonna scream the entire time, do her little elk sounds that she loves to do. Honestly, like overall, she did pretty well. But honestly, if she didn't, at this point, what are you gonna do? The most you can do is get up, even if you're in a window seat, get up and walk up and down the aisle. I mean, what options do you have? The worst that can happen is that people will get upset around you. But, you know, unless they are some sort of baby whisperer, who cares? Who cares what they think, right? I wish you all the success on your next flight with your little one. If you have any other suggestions or tips, please put them below. Share your suggestions or tips for flying with kids at any age, because she'll be flying for a while. So thank you so much for checking out this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can hang out with me and Klausie more in the future. Bye.